Hey everybody, what is going on? It's your Uncle Steve and Uncle Steve's Lounge for the Monday Minutia. With one carry, did Bijan Robinson become must-see TV in the ATL? Let's talk about it. Hey, what is going on? How is everyone doing? It is Monday, so if we're in Uncle Steve's Lounge, it's the Monday Minutia. We have it here live for you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. If this is your first time tipping through here, make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to Uncle Steve's Lounge and come in and join me and let's talk Falcons. Let's talk fun. Let's talk less than 3 weeks away from Falcon football. I know it's a little bit less than that when it comes to that Thursday night game, but less than 3 weeks away. And if you're one of those fans like where the day, and I know it's kind of the day that Super Bowl ends, but it's really the day that the Falcon season ends, where, you know, you've gone through all of the stuff of February of, you know, beating yourself up. You didn't make the playoffs. March, who we're going to sign in free agency. April, who we're going to draft. What we're going to look like in June at the OTAs, the little not mandatory camps. What we're going to look like at the OTAs. What we're looking like in training camp. And more importantly, what we look like in preseason. Now, all of that is about to manifest itself into the 2023 Atlanta Falcons season. And I am, in the words of the Pointer Sisters, so excited about what we have on tap for the Atlanta Falcons. And this past Friday was, it's a tie, which is not a loss, but it's a tie. You saw the first team. We'll get into that in a few minutes with you all. No one got hurt, no major injuries. So I look at it as a win-win as far as that's concerned. So when we start adding all that together, I'm thinking, hey, not bad. We did okay. So now we're talking about a game in, 72 hours? And we saw a little bit of Desmond. We saw a little bit of Bijan, which is one of the topics. And now we're getting into how do we play this? And remember, we're only like 3 years into this. Is it 3 or 4? This is the 4th year. We're into the 3 preseason thing and how coaches want to work it and things like that. You saw a little bit of Desmond. Overall, what do you want to say? I'll ask you guys how you thought he did from 1 to 10, with 10 being outstanding, 1 being go back and get Mariota. I'm just joking. How did you think on a scale of 1 to 10 he did in that one sample size that you saw? And one of the two questions I ask after that sample size is, do you need to see the starters, particularly Desmond Ridder in the offense, do you need to see them Thursday? I know the easy thing to say, and I'm kind of in that camp a little bit too. Of course you need to see him. Yeah, you haven't arrived yet. You are our starting quarterback, but would we like to see a couple more series and things like that? I think we would. I think the average fan would say, yeah, let's just see just a little bit more to see if that was just an anomaly or is this really what we're going to have going into the season. But I would understand the other part when you look at these injuries happening and the way somebody was talking about that this weekend about how, because they don't get the hard work, they don't do the 2-a-days, they don't get their bodies football ready, they can't tackle in certain training camp scenarios and stuff, that their bodies aren't as ready. I don't think it's anything scientifically proven, but I understand where they're coming from. It just seems like the injuries happen a lot more. Now, that could also be because with social media and everything going on, if somebody sprains their ankle, I'll know about it 5 minutes from now. So we can talk about those things as well. So I am aware that effect happens. But do we need to see them this week? That's one of the questions. And question number 2, and let's face it, aside of what Desmond Ridder did in the first drive, there's only one thing anybody's talking about. No, it wasn't Kyle Pitts' very good catch he made. No, it wasn't about how the defense looked with allowing their first touchdown with less than 2 minutes left in the game. It wasn't about that. But exactly what did it seem like, what was the shining moment? And the shining moment was Bijan Robinson. Bijan Robinson in that one carry. And not only did it make Atlanta fans feel good, ESPN top 10 plays. ESPN.com, they have 6 or 7 different headlines. First headline, Bijan dazzles in first carry. First carry. Again, I know we're in the social media age, so people want to jump on that real quick. But I have to ask, because this is fan-based. I'm not here talking from a coaching position or from a position of an organizational guy and stuff like that. But I'm talking about from a fan standpoint. I got to ask you, with one carry, did Bijan become must-see TV in the ATL? It's interesting to me. My brothers Tidy and Mark at Atlanta Bird game, they came on with a very good show yesterday talking about the Mount Rushmore in Atlanta. And, you come with the same names, Hank Aaron and Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, blah, blah, blah. Is Bijan going to be one of those players? It's easy to probably extrapolate out one preseason carry into what his career is going to be. But listen, folks, we haven't had much to be excited about. So I have to put the question to y'all. Did one carry make Bijan must-see TV in the ATL? Did he jump over Kyle Pitts? He obviously has jumped over Tyler Algier. Did he even jump over the next coming in Desmond Ridder as far as that guy on the team? So I got to ask. I'm going to put it out there. I want y'all to answer to me. I'm going to get to the chat real quick. Before I do, let me give a shout out to all of the content creators who showed up at Taco Mat this weekend up in Hiram, Georgia. I would be disrespectful to name all the names and leave folks out, but it was a lot of folks. I obviously got to talk about Southern Silk with my brothers Big Low Country Sports, Smitty Sports Machine, and 95 North Sports Talk, Alberto. Those getting to see those guys in person, though I've seen Alberto before. We shared the game together, getting a chance to see out of your Falcon mind, getting a chance to see JP in the pound for pound game, getting the chance to holler at just a plethora of other guys who do nothing but want to push Falcon content to you all so you can have a fan perspective on what's going on. Great time, a lot of laughs. I probably left the earliest because I knew I had an early morning Sunday, but I wish I could have stayed to the very end. But it was just a very good time, and I can't tell you how much. I have to give a shout out to JR for setting that up from Pound for Pound. And if you guys happen to be listening to this, please stop in. Let everybody know you were down there. I know they've been showing pictures on Twitter and stuff like that. I'm not as Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. I'm not as whatever. I can like stuff, but I'm still getting it to the point where I can maneuver it. But yeah, it was a great time, man. Everybody had a good time. So let's get into the lounge. Let's see who's in the lounge today. Starting off, John Brooks in the house. What's up, John? Thank you for joining us in the lounge. What's up, Ump? We need to see some more Desmond Ridder against the Steelers. We need to see more of our starting defense against the Steelers. And we need to clean up the penalties. All true. And also says to keep it a buck with you, Ump. I'm not about line. About it. I'm not feeling Arthur Smith just accepts losing. That tells me what I need to know. I disagree with the accepting of losing. There's nothing about him that tells me he accepts losing. But that's your opinion. It's all good. Big False started in the house. Thank you for joining us in the lounge. Deshaun joining us in the lounge. Rise up, my brother, at the aforementioned Atlanta Bird game back to back. They're in the lounge. Mark and Tidy here. Please make sure you check my brothers out on the Atlanta Bird Gang. And for the third week in a row, they'll be going post-game on the Bleacher Report app. Make sure you guys download the app, check the guys out right afterwards. It is good stuff, man. So y'all make sure y'all check them out. James is in the lounge. What's going on, man? How you doing, cousin? Good to see you in the house. 330 checking in. Let me tell you something, man. I got a chance to meet 330. Man, that dude came from a ways away to meet up with the guys. And I just got to give a shout out to him and appreciate him. And he's one of those guys that he supports everyone, man. Nobody's trying to keep everyone to themselves. This is a whole community. And I just love the different, ranges of folks and opinions and all of that. And he and I just hit it off real well, man. And I just appreciate seeing you there, brother. Say, what's up, Unc? Finally got to meet you and the other Falcon content creators. Big shout out to him. Big shout out to Miss B, too, who showed up. And great to see her there, man. That was just awesome. Awesome. 330, you are the man. Lisa Shepard's in the lounge. What's going on? Checking in. Go Falcons. Marina's in the lounge. Happy Monday to you. Player stats. Say, yes, sir. Still not convinced that Dez is the guy. Player stats, you are not the only one. And it's interesting. I've heard people over the last 48 hours who were down with Ridder like full flat tires that have come back and said, maybe he needs to get a little bit more work. I'm not telling you I'm right or they're right or whatever, but I am saying, he hasn't arrived yet. It would be nice for him to get his, get a little more time in there, if you ask me. Eric Parker is here. What's going on? Thanks for joining us in the lounge. Eric said, let's destroy Pittsburgh. I am all down with that. He said, I would say a solid 8 on Desmond. He will get better. Yeah, and listen, nothing that I'm saying about Desmond doesn't say his ceiling is still high. I still think we have yet to come close to, you know how some people say, well, that's the best he can. No, I don't think that at all. I think you're going to see. He did some good things on the one drive he had, the small sample that we got. That's all we have to judge by right now. But I think he did some great things. You know, if you want to nitpick, you obviously can. There were a couple of those throws that maybe they weren't behind. You know, Bijan and Kyle saved them on a couple of those passes, but then there were also the nice touch to Drake London down there. I can't deny that. And the fact that he seemed so in control of what was going on was encouraging to me as a second-year NFL player. I don't care if you're first, second, third round. The fact that he looked in control, that's important to me. I don't want anybody looking like they're not ready for the moment. So far, he seems like he's ready for the moment. So we'll see. 330 says Ritter needs to get every snap he can. And I hear you. Oblivion Empire is in the lounge. What's going on, man? What's up, fam? Out of your Falcon mind is here. John and Mike got a chance to meet both of those brothers, man. And just awesome meeting John's family and brother chopping it up with you. Sports and personal was real cool. I appreciate that. Mike, great to see you as well in there, man. That was just some awesome stuff. Say would like to see the ones a little bit more, but I doubt it'll happen. Art may not want to risk injury on ones or two series in the last preseason game. As much as I'm with 330 about wanting to see Ritter, this is probably how I feel. Because, again, remember, this is the game you're probably going to get everybody who's left of the 90. So what we got? We're going from 90 to 53. So that's, if my math is right, was that 37 folks? You have to see 37 folks and do an evaluation on them Thursday in game. Do you really want to risk some go-getter for Pittsburgh wanting to make a name for himself and knocking out your starter? And I know that's risk anywhere. That's risk during the regular game and all of that. But I'm one of those people that I'm saying, you know what? We're so close to this first game. Is it really, really worth it? I'm convinced that those practices and scrimmages we did with Miami and other teams do, that serves as a pseudo preseason game, which is why if you notice the majority of teams that did scrimmages, when they went into the game, a lot of them didn't play their top tier folks because their folks were playing in practice. But I'm right with you right there, man. Winston is in the lounge. What is going on, sir? It said, those in the chat, smash that like button. He is correct. If you don't mind, whether you're on Facebook, whether you're on YouTube, please like the video. And if you don't, hey, listen, I don't even mind if you share it. If y'all with somebody that say, hey, there's this big girly dude with a ugly looking beard that's on TV, but he talks Falcons, y'all share the video. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Get it out there. There are a lot of folks that just want a different type of opinion. And I think sometimes mine might be different from, others, but it's all good. Spread the show if you can. Tell your friends. Stephen J. Alford is in the house. What is going on? My brother said Desmond needs more reps. We won't see them. Yeah. Okay. That even was a shorter version of exactly how I feel. I'm assuming that's John that just said with his opinion. That's perfect. Desmond needs more reps. Correct. We won't see them. I hear you. That's it. Wallace is in the lounge. What's going on? Wallace say, what's going on with your we might do, but I don't think we will because they have to evaluate more of the other players. They have a chance to make the roster or practice squad. So you agreeing with what I'm saying there too. I hear you, brother. I hear you loud and clear. JJ the Great is in the lounge with Uncle Steve. What is up, sir? Good to see you. Stephon Mosley is here. What's going on, sir? The topic today, we have two topics, and we haven't even touched on the second one as much. The topics are, I'm going to go over here to the little banner so y'all can read them. First, do we need to see the starters against the Steelers on Thursday? And the second one is with one carry. And again, I don't want anybody to lose their mind. I'm not telling you stop the presses. He's the best athlete in the history of Atlanta. Not saying that. But for a football team starved for some kind of spark, some kind of energy, with one carry, did Bijan become must-see TV in the ATL? Play along, even if I know some of y'all are going to be way too serious about it. I'm not trying to tell you that he doesn't need any time. You can sit him on the sidelines. All I'm saying is it's amazing to me how much commotion was made out of one carry. And again, he had the nice little catch out there as well, but you saw athleticism, you saw excitement, and arguably you saw some movements you haven't seen since that last number 7. But that's for another day. Tell me how y'all feel, though. Millie Mills is in the lounge. What's going on, Mills? Good to see you, brother. Eric says, yes, we need to see our starters against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh will have, I did hear Pittsburgh will have their starters. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. Cincinnati didn't have their starters. So that doesn't necessarily mean you have to match up, but I get it. But just because they have theirs doesn't necessarily mean you have to have yours as well. And I don't know if their starters played game 1 or 2. Now, I'm not a Pittsburgh fan, so I could care less. But at the same time, I just not sure. Steven has jumped over to YouTube and says, Bijan was definitely the shining moment, without a doubt for me. That's what I say. Jeremy Cox is in the house. What's going on, Jeremy? Said 2 series for the starters. Ritter gets an 8. He had 3 penalties to do it. Yeah, I forgot about the penalties, including the no-call pass interference on the tip drill. He wasn't spot on every throw, but that's why we brought in big bodies. And very, very good statement right there. Everything you said there. The flags, which especially the pre-start, those the pre-snap penalties will get on my nerves. Just to see people jumping out ahead of time, just not showing the discipline to hold tight before the count is out. And that happened a couple of times. Chris Lindstrom, I'm not going to, there might have been some referee that just wanted to throw his flags. But, yeah, the penalties are definitely something. Deshaun says 8 needs more series. Yeah, that's true. Thank you, Stephon. Appreciate you. Again, reminding y'all, hit the like button, especially on YouTube. You can on Facebook as well. Appreciate y'all. Share the video. Talk to everybody, y'all. Appreciate it. Travis says, what's up, Unc? I'm sticking with the notion that Ritter needs to play. As I said before, he's got an upper echelon starter. His experience is minimal. I agree with that as well. Listen, as much as I would love to act like I want to see him, for a whole half and stuff like that, I think that would have been this game before. I just think the game 3, I'm not sure whether that is going to be now that that's the final game, I'm not sure if that's the one you want to throw out there. As far as I'm concerned, I don't think that's it. Jay Black is in the lounge, says Bijan gave fans a reason to fill the seats and to keep watching him. Okay, I hear you. Wallace says, Unc, I think Bijan was going to be must-see TV before that carry. Here's the thing, though, Wallace. And you're right. But to see it, again, shorts and T-shirts, how many times did we hear about Frank Darby looking good? How many times did we hear about, Mike Davis looking good? Look at those big thighs and all of that. But to actually see him on the field and take that first carry and do what he did, that's pretty amazing to me, if you ask me. Facebook user, what's going on, says, I haven't bought a jersey yet. I want a new one. I have Jet Jones, Hall of Famer, and arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL. Who else has 2,300-yard games? Has 2 300-yard games and a custom jersey. This Friday, I want to see a starter to throw their name in the hat. I'm leaning towards Terrell with runners-up London, Pitts, and possible Robinson. Well, be it far from me to tell anybody what jersey to buy, because whatever you buy, to me, if it has the Falcons on it, I think you're supporting the team. But and obviously, as you see here in the lounge, I have Pitts, I have Terrell, I have Ritter, I have Bijan. If you can see, Bijan's over there in the corner. So, I don't know. Get a Jesse Bates. Now that's a new number 3. I would go in that direction. Get that one. That would be kind of cool. So I guess my answer is whatever floats your boat. Or better yet, whichever is the cheapest. Eric says, I believe one carry has become must-see TV in Atlanta from Bijan. I agree. I'm waiting for somebody to say something about that. Yeah. Lisa says, hate that I missed y'all. Hopefully y'all will do it again. Yeah, I know he was talking about possibly doing it again. Maybe an away game that we all get together and just kind of watch together in a setting like that. I think that was just really, just an awesome time we had. Jay Black says that PSL crap is killing the stadium attendance. When I had season tickets before Mercedes-Benz Stadium, people showed up. Them stands were empty, shotty. But I'm gonna be honest with you, Jay Black. You're correct, but then I don't want people to act like the Georgia Dome was 100 all the time. And I was there when did the $10 tickets start? What was that 01, 02? That's when I had first started with them, and I'm here to tell you, even with $10 tickets, that stadium, that was pre-PSL. You know what gets people in the seats? W's get people in the seats. Winning legacies get people in the seats. The Georgia Dome started filling up in the 2010s because Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, and the rest of the guys had started a nice little trend there. From 2008 to 2017, sans the couple of down years in 13 and 14, we had a product that people wanted to come see. We got a couple of primetime games a year. So you need to win to get the stadium full. Now, does having an exciting player like Bijan and the potential for that help? Absolutely. But you got to win first. You can have the most exciting player in the world, and if you're not winning, it really doesn't mean much. Ask Barry Sanders. Facebook user says your background is inspiring me. Oh, cool. That is all right. I appreciate that. Yeah, and actually I have plenty more jerseys. I just during the season, I'll switch them up a little bit. I've just had it like this just to showcase the newer players right now, to give them some love. I know we've had plenty of love from Grady Jarrett, and yeah, I got a Richie Grant jersey. Don't hold it against me. But yeah. Facebook user says, still have to prove to me he's that guy. Now, I'm wondering, are you talking about Bijan or are we talking about Ritter? Either way, I get it, so I'll answer for both. Ritter, yes, you still have to prove that he's the guy. You're only 4 real games into your career. I get it. If you're talking about Bijan, yeah, I'm kind of just playing along. Again, play the fan game with me. I'm just saying, from what you saw out of him in 2 plays, is that something that you would love to see on a regular basis? So when I'm saying that, I'm kind of playing along. All right, Lisa says, I agree, Wallace. Just based on the hype in his media coverage, Bijan was already must-see TV for us. The first NFL carry just solidified it. It's exciting. Yay, Bijan. Here's the thing. Again, nobody's saying in Atlanta they didn't share that thought. But I just say, as far as the nation kind of caught up with, the Bijan mania. There are a lot of people that could not stand that draft pick. I wasn't the hugest fan of it. But once he's here now, I mean, you got to put him out there and see what's going on, right? Travis says, Bijan just made himself that much more must-see TV, must-see, that now everyone wants to see him that much more. Absolutely. Bill Miller said, hell no. I think the whole team is must-see TV for me. Bijan is just the newest toy. Boy, better live up to that number 7. That's for sure. Yeah, and listen, I am 100% with. Look, I still think Drake is a better than average wide receiver who has the best yet to come. Kyle Pitts showed us that, yep, he's ready. He's back, ready to do some things. So, yeah, I agree with you a lot that there is a lot more to see. But I'm saying in one play, it's amazing to me. Drake London got drafted in the same number 8 spot last year. There wasn't a byline for ESPN about how he did. You know, Kyle Pitts on his first play, if y'all remember in preseason, and I'm going to bring my buddy up here who just came in here, smooth little Smitty in the house. What's going on, Smitty? How you doing, brother?
What's up, Uncle Steve?
Man,
what's good, man?
I can't call it, brother. Before I get into the question I was about to ask you, brother, it was awesome getting a chance to finally see you, brother, and the rest of the brothers, man. Just real quick, encapsulate what happened for you on Saturday. I just think it was just a whole lot of love from folks who love this team and people who support us that love this team. And I just want to see from your perspective where you coming from.
Oh, I loved it, man. I'm gonna tell you the truth, man. It was humbling experience, man, because we had followers come all the way from far as North Carolina to come see us. I held great conversations. 2 of the guys that I mentor, I got a chance to talk to both of them at the same time, and we share ideas. And shout out to JR, man, for putting together pound for pound ATL.
Yes.
Shout out to him.
Yes, I gave him a love offering earlier. That was a great idea. And he said maybe even later on this year for an away game, maybe we can all get together and do that again during the game, possibly.
Yeah, I would love that, man. I would love that. But I think the biggest point for all of us, man, was seeing Alberto in person, man.
Yes.
Shout out to Alberto, man.
Yes.
Traveling all the way from Rhode Island, man. Shout out to Miss Antonetti as well.
Yeah.
She's a good wife, man. Trust me. She did her thing with that, man. So shout out to Alberto, man. He made it back home safe. And I got to kick it all day with Alberto, all day Saturday, from 9 in the morning all the way to past midnight. So we hung the whole day. But yeah, man, it was a great experience. And to see a lot of content creators, get together like that with, just great atmosphere, great convo, laughs, and it was just, like no other, man. I'll never forget that.
And I'm gonna say this, and I probably can say this, and I'm whatever. It's amazing to me because we all do things differently, on a certain level. Right. But I felt like I felt like if there was anybody who, which I don't think it was, if there was anybody who had an ego, they left it at the door. Because when we came inside, all I heard was laughter. All I saw was bro hugs. All I saw was just a group of fans excited for this team.
Absolutely.
Coming up. And to me, that's what it's all about, Smitty.
Absolutely. You're right about that. And shout out to the country creator, man. If y'all follow me, man, I link my thing to the Uncle Steve page. So if y'all tuning in from my channel, man, please go subscribe to Uncle Steve. And go back to under one of my live videos. You can catch all of the content creators under there, man. That's what I do. I try to post all the links to their channel so y'all can go find them. They put in hard work just like me and Uncle Steve and everybody else. So yeah, shout out to them, man. And yeah, man. Oof, boy, I'm still off a high, really.
And just for you all too, if you get a chance after you finish this, go over to Smitty's channel. He has a mailbag that he asked a lot of questions today, which I was finding intriguing. Some of the questions he asked, I might have to go into his brain again and see if I can ask him some.
My mind open like a 7-Eleven. Trust me.
So while your mind is open, let's answer the question. One of the questions I was asking was, and we talked about it, that first carry from Bijan. And one of the questions that I put up here is, with one carry, did Bijan become must-see TV in Atlanta? And Lisa Shepard made a great point. We here in Atlanta knew he was going to be spectacular. But the fact that Smitty, when he ran that one play, if you went to ESPN.com like I did that night, the first byline before baseball, before anything else, was Bijan's spectacular in his first carry. So Let me ask you a question. Does that carry on throughout? Does that help build up fans' anticipation on what we are going to have this year?
Before I answer, I just want to say, with that first run, it was everything I thought it was going to be. Because when I broke him down during the draft and after we drafted him, I told y'all I saw the feet of Barry Sanders, the vision of Terrell Davis, the hands of Marshall Faulk. You seen it all in those two plays that he made. Well, he carried the ball 4 times, but that first run and that catch behind him, it was what I expected. And it can carry on over into the season, because you look, as I told you, Uncle Steve, dynamic running backs are hard to come by.
Very hard.
We have one. Mm-hmm. So no, I'm not trying to throw out Tyler Algier under the bus, but he was a 5th-round pick. He came in and did his job last year, did what he was supposed to do. Now you hand the reins off to your number 8 pick. Let him do what he needed to do, and you flip-flop them in as running back by committee. When you feel like you need to wear the defense down, put in Tyler Algier. When you need to line up Bijan Robinson outside as a receiver, you put him on the field with Algier. So, I mean, there's so many ways that they can go. But trust me, Tyler Algier will not lose a lot of carries because of Bijan's versatility. So, anticipation is building, but I think we're in good hands, man. Either way it goes.
I'm going to expound on what you said about Tyler Algier. I don't want anybody to misconstrue what we're saying. Bijan is a beast. He's going to be popular. He's going to be the headline. He's going to be that camera person. Don't feel sorry for Tyler. Tyler is going to get his carries. Tyler is going to get his time. And truth be told, this is going to bode well for Tyler, because Tyler's going to be up for a contract in about a couple of years. And all people need to see, he could be the Michael Turner to LaDainian Tomlinson. Remember how that worked out early? And Michael was right behind him, and then Turner parlayed that into a contract with Atlanta. That can happen for Algier. Now, I'm not trying to get rid of him yet. I'm just saying, when the time comes, that's going to be real talk. As far as that's concerned, I'm going to do something I normally don't do on a Monday. I'm going to throw the link into the chat to briefly, since whenever I have Smitty on here, whether I have to use his brain to help me out on a lot of this.
Yeah, man.
So, I'm gonna put him to the test out here with some of the folks here. Let me get a couple more comments in here, because I see Miss Latoya is here. Say, hey, Uncle Steve. Hey, Uncle Steve, I'm excited every year when the season is about to start, but I believe this season is going to be special. Dexter is in the house. Dexter says, I would like to see this offense this week, but this offense is going to be a problem. I know Ritter didn't score, but I like the way he controlled the offense and moved in the pocket. He looked good. I'm going to come back to you on something with that, Smitty. JJ said, I like what I saw from Ritter on the first drive overall. The passes to Bijan and Pitch could have been better, but they still ended up being positive plays, so I can't nitpick. He looked good last night, and it's probably a reason why they got talented people like that, Smitty, because they're going to have the talent to make those catches, to make their quarterback look good when possibly it could be a little bit off. If anything, and the pass to Drake was beautiful, what he made. So I don't want to make it look like he didn't do anything. So,
to be honest, man, it's to be expected. Because like I said, man, 4 regular season games last year, they were like preseason games to him. We were out of the playoff race. And he didn't have the weapons that he have right now. Kyle Pitts went out with an injury. Drake London was really the only weapon he had outside of Tyler Algier. So now you regroup, come in this season, you add Bijan Robinson, you add Jonathan Smith, you add Mac Hollins. So now he has an arsenal of weapons. Yeah, those throws were behind, but like I said, that's to be warranted because as you think about it, he's still, in my eyes, he's still a rookie. So
Right.
when he get more snaps under his belt, the more the confidence will build, the more the accuracy will get better. And trust me, with the weapon that he have, y'all won't even be thinking about what he did in preseason.
Absolutely. I just passing by. I don't want anybody to think I'm ignoring them. You know, this is coming to that time of the season. I know Smitty has to deal with it. Our brothers Bigelow and Alberto have to deal with it. We have so many. I don't want to ignore people. See you, Marina. I see you, John Higgins. Big John is in the house. I see y'all coming. Bags is in the house. Said we're going to be a lot better than what people think. Drake, Bijan, Pitts, 1,000-yard players. I hear y'all loud and clear. Coming down here. Rusty's in the house. What's going on, Rusty? Say, Steve, something you did 2 years ago that I thought was pretty cool was a live reaction stream to the away Tampa game. I did that. You're right. Should do a couple of times a year if possible. That was pretty dope. I do plan on doing one of the games like that. I don't know which one yet, Rusty, but that is definitely going to be done. And I'm glad you remembered that. Somebody else reminded me of that when I tried. So that's good. I see you, Miss Aretha Johnson. Good to see you in the house. Thank you for joining us. Douglas Farrington is in the house. He says my Atlanta Falcons team is ready this year. Better defense and offense this year. Aretha said, hell yeah, rise up, Falcon. And I know you don't sound like that to me. Just so I'm just messing with you. She like, I don't sound that country.
You ain't right, Uncle Steve.
I'm just playing. Bubba Gump is in the house. What's going on, Bubba? Facebook user says, hey, I'm at work. Will listen when I get out, but defense looks good. Hopefully offense will as well. That's Calvin. What's up, Calvin? What's DJ Calvin in the house? What's up? Lawrence Scott is here. Falcons would be something to contend with this year. Appreciate you, Lawrence. Thanks for joining us in the lounge with my brother Smitty here. DK Davis is here. Say Ritter's decision making is going to be the most important thing with this offense, moving the ball in chunks. Zaylin Bag is in the house. What's going on? Good to see you. Justin is here. Thank you for joining us in Uncle Steve's Lounge. Appreciate you. Sterling Woods is in here. Appreciate you. Say, hey, Uncle Steve, it's Smitty. Hope y'all all day was all good. Appreciate that.
Everything been good, man. Everything been good.
And and like I said, I'm just trying, man. I'm trying. If y'all notice, I did slip the link in there. If y'all want to stop in for a second or two and submit it, hopefully you got a little time on your hands. We can answer a couple of questions or get the opinions on the two questions. That's really what I want to do today. The two questions are, and I'll post them back up here. And I didn't ask you the second question, so I'll let you answer that too. The first question is again with Bijan, with one carry, did Bijan become must-see TV? And the second question, Smitty, I want you to kick this off before I get back to people. Said, do we need to see the starters against the Steelers Thursday? And I'm before you answer, the reason why I'm asking in that sense is because while I don't think there's a doubt in anybody's mind it would be good to see Desmond, but technically this is usually the last preseason game. You really don't see a lot of starters most of the time. We hear Pittsburgh's and theirs. What's your thought on seeing the starters Thursday?
To be honest, I don't really think we have to play the starters. I still really want to see what kind of depth we have with this team. Because like my boy Aaron Freeman said, and I thought about it, he made a damn good point about the offensive line not having a lot of depth. So you need to play them as much as possible to see where they're at in this scheme, how they're adjusting to the play calling. And I don't think they need to play because, let's be real, whatever's happening going to happen in the regular season. We've seen it already. So there's no need to push the envelope. We know what we have. So just see what you have with the depth. Let those backups play, and let them fight for reps and plays during the season.
And to be honest, Smitty, the majority of the people that I kind of think in your case, like, let's see what this depth is all about. Look, all of a sudden we became shorter on the offensive line with the loss of Matt Hennessy. So now let's see how that's going to work its way out. We got somebody coming in the chat here. He is a former Douglas High School Astro.
Yeah,
my brother Stephen Alford is in the house. What's going on, man?
What's going
on? We got 3 Astros in the house. What's up?
That's right.
Hey,
that's right.
Mays.
We beat last weekend.
What was it? We beat them
21-18.
21-18.
Yeah,
so
21-18.
Always good to put the Raiders in their place.
Absolutely.
Talk to me, Steven. I know you've been watching from the beginning, man, and I know you gave your opinion earlier, but give it again for those who didn't get a chance. Two questions. One, do you think we need to see the starters Thursday against the Steelers in the third and final preseason game? And two, with one carry, that the electrifying 12-yard run of Bijan Robinson all of a sudden catapult him to must-see TV in the ATL?
Okay. I think that we definitely should see the starters. I don't think we will. I'm like you, Uncle Steve. I want to see them, but I don't want anybody to get hurt.
Absolutely.
But speaking specifically about Desmond Ridder, he's only had 4 NFL starts, like complete games, and he's only played 1 series. And so, when you look at how he played, he absolutely looked in control. I felt better about my Ridder jersey that I prematurely purchased after watching that game. But at the same time, I did see him get a lot of help from Pitts when he threw the ball behind Pitts, and even from Bijan when he threw the ball behind Bijan. And when he ran, when we were in the red zone, Bijan and Hollins were wide open for a touchdown, and he decided not to throw. He decided to run instead. That may be a nit, but the bottom line is I like to see him. I think he needs more playing time. And if you consider that we were playing against, and correct me if I'm wrong, we were playing against Cincinnati's twos. Am I wrong?
Absolutely right. Only one starter. Only one starter.
Yeah. So that's not really an accurate assessment of how he's going to do against any of our players, quite frankly, against the ones. Now, granted, the coach has seen the ones against the ones, when we practice with Miami and so forth. But from a fan, emotionally attached perspective, I'd like to see him. I really would, even if it was just for 1 series. I think he needs more. As far as Bijan Robinson being must-see TV, I think that we have been starved for so long, and that's not taking anything away from CP, because CP has been the spark for us for the last years. It's not taking anything away from Pitts when he got 1,000 yards, the first, his rookie year, or any of the other players, Tyler Algier last year. But I think that there's hype around Bijan. And it was a 13-yard run, but the way that he moved, you can see talent when it's happening. Right. And you saw it. And so another running back could have run for 13 yards, and maybe that was a good block. Maybe he ran over somebody. But the shiftiness that we saw in that 12 or 13-yard run says a lot. Now, that doesn't mean that he's going to be a Hall of Famer, even though I think he may. But again, I'm a Falcons fan. That's emotions talk. That's my emotions talking. But at the same time, I'm definitely going to be watching.
Oh, absolutely.
Let me ask you something right quick, Steve.
Steve or Steven?
Yes. Yeah. Come on, bro. Come on, man.
Okay.
Come on, Smitty. Which Steven you talking to, bro? Come on.
I call you Unc, so you know who you is. But I understand you saying he needs reps, and I've said the same thing. But with all the weapons that they put around him, and knowing that they're going to be a run-heavy scheme, that could help him develop. Does that change your mind about him playing in that last preseason game, knowing all the weapons they put around him?
My only concern is that when I look around the league, with the exception of, I guess, New Jersey, the Jets, their starters are playing. And so up in North Carolina, our neighbors, our NFC South wannabe rivals, they're playing their rookie. And quite frankly, I see Desmond Ritter as a rookie. He's not a true rookie because he's at the playbook for a full year. He was there last year. He was able to watch, other quarterbacks. He was able to watch the coach. But he hasn't been in long enough. And what I don't want to happen is that our first 3 games, he's just getting his rhythm, and those games cost us because he isn't quite ready yet for playing ones. But again, I'm kind of on the fence because I don't want him to get hurt either.
Right. Absolutely. Since I have, and again, I'm gonna take advantage of having 2 guys that I respect. You guys' knowledge on what's going on with our team.
Mm-hmm.
The dilemma that I see that's getting ready to happen that they've talked about a little bit, the wide receiver room for this team. Is it probably already take Drake and Hollis out of the equation?
Mm-hmm.
Most time we come through the season, sometimes some teams carry 5, sometimes 6. But I'm looking at the battle for the wide receiver. Kadero Hodge, Marcia Whiteside, Scotty Miller, Josh Ali, who had a nice bounce back game coming in, Penny Hart. Where do you guys see? One, do you think we're going to have 5 on the roster? And 2, who do you think will be those other 3 guys to help? I'll start with you, Smith, and then Steven, I go back to you.
How many they will keep is going to be interesting because we know how we like to run the football, what Arthur Smith thinks about the run game. Right. So he could keep 45 tight ends, which could lessen the spot at the wide receiver position. But as I look at the 3, 4, and 5 receivers, I would have to say Scotty Miller, Josh Ali, and I'm going to go with Xavier Malone because he's had a pretty good offseason and 2 good preseason games. So those would be my 3 picks as behind Mac Hollins and Drake London. But, does it really matter when we all know that Kyle Pitts is going to be the number 2 target? Not receiver, number 2 target.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's no need to keep it more than 5.
What do you think, Steven?
Yeah, I agree with Smitty. And quite honestly, I really would like to see some of those other receivers play with the ones to really make an accurate assessment. I went to training camp, I watched, how they played or whatever, but quite honestly, I was focused on, the number ones. I think Smitty's spot on when you talk about Pitts. He's not a receiver, but he's going to be, one of the primary targets. And I think that Bijan Robinson will be too. And I also think that Hollins is going to surprise a lot of people because he just looks really good. But to your point, if you take them out of the equation, I like Scotty Miller's speed, but I haven't really studied Scotty Miller compared to Penny Hart, who's hurt right now in concussion protocol, or Hodge, who's hurt also with an ankle injury. I don't know, but I think we have so many weapons. I mean, you have Jonnu Smith, assuming, he's going to be a playmaker as well. Which 3 receivers? I'm gonna rely on the coaches to make that decision because I haven't really studied them enough. I've just been focused on the top tier guys.
Right.
Now, the receiver that you mentioned will hurt. What works out for them is they're special team guys. So they might get the benefit of the doubt when it comes to special team. So that may put them ahead of the class. Who knows? But Xavier Malone and Josh Ali definitely are going to be in the running.
Yeah. I'll say this too. Last year, I can appreciate the large receivers that we have. We have giants out there, and we may need that depending on how Ritter plays. True. But it's hard to not have a speedster, and I think that's the role that maybe Scotty Miller and Ali and some of these other receivers have. I just remember last year when we had, he's in Carolina now, actually on injured reserve, Bird.
Oh, yeah, Bird.
Yeah, you give that guy the ball, and it's lights out. If you're not paying attention. And he had two of the most prolific plays that we had. Not the most.
Carolina game.
Yeah, but he had some really great plays for us. And even Cincinnati, the one successful
Yeah,
bomb
that's right.
that we had, he caught it. So we need a speedster that can just totally outrun those backs in the house.
Just real
I
quick,
just don't know who it is.
yeah, right. Real quick, giving some love to everybody. Corey, Philip Crawford, Al Hunter, Scooter Rain, Justin Swisher, Tony Lambert, Tiff Rains. Appreciate you. Thank y'all for joining us here. You're joining your Uncle Steve and Uncle Steve's Lounge with our special guests here, Smitty, Smooth Criminal. Well, actually, I mixed Prince in there with that, so let me take that back.
Right.
Smooth Criminal Smitty and my buddy Stephen J. Alford in the house, joining me here in the lounge. And again, we put the link out there. If anyone is interested in joining us, we would appreciate you. Just trying to get the temperature for what people think is going on this year. Let me ask y'all a question. We're less than 3 weeks away from kickoff. We already talked about the potential excitement with Bijan. We've already talked about how this defense just looks different, feels different than what we've had coming on this year. This show is usually about the fan perspective. Mm-hmm. Do you guys feel like in the last couple of weeks, there has been enough to inspire some who have not been to the Benz or haven't had a reason to go to the Benz to come in? Let me put a caveat there by saying, I understand winning gets you there. I'm not naive. But with some of the things we've done, the moves we've made, the little sneak peek we've seen of Bijan, the nice drive by Ritter, the nice catch by Drake, the renaissance of Kyle Pitts, do we see that being something that will attract fans to come in here game one against Carolina, Stephen?
I don't know.
I
don't think so. I'm going to tell you this. I think most of the fans in Atlanta are not actively engaged with what we're doing. I think that if Colin Cowherd and some of the national media start talking more about Bijan Robinson and what he's doing, I think they're going to hear that, and that'll validate whether or not they should buy a ticket to come down to the Benz. I think that if it's, more of the same, and I'm saying prior to, if we win, like you said, I think they'll come out after winning. In fact, even if we're not winning, but if Bijan is running for 200 yards or something like that, people are going to come out and want to see this exciting player. But I think if we win, absolutely. But prior to anybody playing any football, I don't think so just yet. I think the diehard fans and the fans who are sort of engaged, they'll definitely be there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Good job. Before we get to you, Smitty, let me introduce two guys coming in here. My brother Slim Dawn.
What's up?
In the house. What's going on? And brother Wallace, a return member to the lounge. What's going on, brother Wallace? How you feeling, bro?
Fine. How are y'all doing today?
We're doing just fine, man. So we're gonna continue the question going to Smitty. Smitty, with the things we've done over the offseason, the moves, the little sneak peek of nice defense and a little sprinkle of Bijan, a little sprinkle of Kyle Pitts. Is that enough, do you think, to entice people to come in here that first week?
Absolutely. And the reason why I say, when I went to training camp on the 29th of last month, the energy was crazy. I hadn't seen that type of energy in this city in a long time. Probably Super Bowl season. That's what, about 7 years.
Right.
So the energy has changed, and that's due to the front office finally putting a product on the field for everybody to want to see. The last couple of years we've been tied down by salary cap. We know that, but now it's no excuse for you not to support this team because they put their foot forward and they put some players on the field for you to be excited for. So I think they've done more than enough.
Absolutely. I shout out to A1 Forever who's in the chat now. Appreciate you, brother joining in here. Kiki is here.
Oh,
She's
Lord.
in the house. They say, hey, I'm late. We'll have to catch the replay, watch the replay. We appreciate you coming in. I want to give a special shout out to Miss B, who made an appearance this weekend. Smitty. So
Hey, Miss B need to send me that photo so I can finish my collage for the Saturday meeting.
We appreciate her coming through there, man. Awesome. Slim Dollar, we're gonna pose the question to you, my friend. What, with all the moves we made and this little sprinkle of what we saw last week against Miami and this past Friday against Cincinnati, do you think that's enough to entice new faces into Mercedes-Benz game one against Carolina?
First, let me say that I'm mad I didn't see you when I had to go. I didn't stay that long up there at Taco Mat, man. You're like,
I got a bedtime, Slim. Sometimes I can't do what I used to do a long time ago. I'm sure Steven might be able to tell you I was a little active guy a long time ago today. That has changed quite a bit. So
but to answer your question, I think what will happen is with the Bijan and stuff, it'll get fans interested to watch the Falcons again. But I think by week 5, that's when you're going to start seeing people buying tickets. The only reason why I say that is because if you look at stats, a running back don't sell tickets. It's your quarterback. And people are looking for the insurance that Desmond Ridder is that guy. So by week 3, maybe 5, then people will say, okay, Desmond Ridder is that guy. Then they're going to start going. But usually when people buy a Desmond Ridder jersey, that's just sole support for the team. It ain't because they banking on Ridder to be that guy. So I think it's more people are just waiting to see exactly. But I know when week 1 Carolina come, I'm going to be interested to watching the game at home. But I don't think I'll see the stadium packed.
Oh, that's fair. That's a fair point. And before I get to you, Wallace, I want to revert back to something Steven said a little earlier. And I've said this before. If anybody has watched my live, I hearken back to that Eddie Murphy skit in Raw when he's talking about the people who haven't eaten in a long time. And if you give them a saltine, it tastes like a Ritz because you haven't had anything that good in a long time. So your mind is telling you that's something real good. So that's what Bijan is doing for us right now.
Right.
He's that saltine that we think is a Ritz. We're not sure yet, but we hadn't seen anything in that caliber in the last 4 or 5 years. So we do get excited at the first thing we see. But I meant to follow up with that when you said that, Stephen, but sorry about that. Wallace, what do you think, brother? Do you think we have enough to compel a new face into Mercedes-Benz game 1 against Carolina?
Yes, I do. And with all the fans that you had at training camp, even though I wasn't there, but with a lot of fans that you had at training camp and the moves that we made on the defense and the weapons that we put around Ridder with Bijan coming in, and just like you say, with that one move that he did in that preseason game, I think that stadium's gonna be full, and it's a divisional game on that first game, so they're gonna want to come see that.
The only thing I'll throw back, last year we had our natural rivals at home last year, and if anybody was Steven, are you a season ticket holder, Steven?
I am. Yeah, I was
in that place. It wasn't 100% at all, and I thought it would be closer to. Don't get me wrong, it was a nice first game attendance. Would you say that was the most attended game of the year?
I will, but at the same time, there were too many Saints fans.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Right.
Here's the thing about the this is why I say you can't use when people go to that those preseason practices. Of course, a lot of people are gonna go there because it's darn near free. So I'm gonna go there, of course. But if you're talking about a regular season game, the Falcons charge an arm and a leg. Shoot, I have to sell one of my kids to go. So, you know, I got to put my kid on eBay, just to make it.
Said by Slim Dollar, not Steven Johnson. Make it clear. We do not condone selling kids on the Steve's Lounge.
It all depends on where you want to sit at, though.
So it's like, I'm like, I don't want to go there. Then the Falcons end up, because here's the thing: that week 1 game to me is the most important game, because if the Falcons just win week 1, they did something they couldn't do in 5 years. That's go over 500 ever in 5 years. So the thing is, I think a lot of people are they supporting, but I think they just hesitant to say, okay, I'm gonna go spend some money on the game, because that's a lot of money. It's not a football ticket is not cheap. It is not cheap. I think they did a study today. The Falcons Stadium, the average person pays about $135 a ticket for a person. That's even to get food. So that's still a lot of money. I think how much you got to pay to go to those little preseason practices, like $5 or $10.
$10.
I thought they were free.
Yeah,
they're free.
You talking about the on the field experience?
Yeah, I was thinking about training camp. My bad.
$5, but
That's still cheaper than some of the other stadiums that got PCLs as well.
Yeah.
Let me
Try to go to Jerry World.
What Slim was saying.
You don't want to go there.
And when you start talking about, and he's right, you have to give me something compelling to spend. I'm not going to speak for anybody. I'm just going to use me an example, and I'm going to let y'all extrapolate out with what y'all think how much I pay, which is not cheap. You have the PSL that you have to pay to secure the seat, which is $2 for me. Then the tickets, which have surprisingly, even in losing, gone up.
Yep.
They tried to throw in some food to pretend like that one hot dog, one hamburger was justifiable for $50 more. But you don't put something on the field that's compelling enough to make that investment. Let me tell y'all, Kansas City, I don't even have to go look. I know there's a waiting list.
Yep.
Buffalo, as cold as it is up there, I know there's a waiting list.
Green Bay too.
As much as we can't stand them star-studded Texas, there is a waiting list, probably in 100,000 seat dome up there in Jerry World, because you give them something compelling to come watch. You can't expect 5 years of losing into a stadium, and a stadium that they're telling you to, on top of your ticket, to throw something else on top and expect to fill the place up. But I guarantee you this: if you win consistently, that'll change.
Oh, no question.
Winning heals everything. And then look at all those teams you named. What's the key thing they got in common? They got a quarterback. And I think it was on the NFL Network. They said no one pays to see a backup quarterback. So that's why the rules in the NFL changes to protect the quarterback. It's because if you watch that Netflix series, Quarterback, and if you heard what Kirk Cousins said, why do they protect the quarterback? Because a hurt quarterback can mess up a whole season. And not only will it mess up a whole season, it can mess up the owner's money, because nobody is going to pay to see a backup quarterback. If Tom Brady went down, do you really think somebody's going to go pay for a ticket to go see who is his backup?
Is Garoppolo 1 year, Hoyer next year?
I'm talking when he was with Tampa Bay. Even though Tampa Bay was horrible.
What didn't Hoyer
Yeah, trash. It was trash.
Oh.
So even if Tampa Bay was horrible, like they was last year, nobody was going to pay to go to that game. But Tampa Bay was constantly selling out when they had Tom Brady. So if you're a backup quarterback, and that's the thing I think people are still on the fence with rid of it for. Although I do like his first preseason game last week, it was pretty good. I don't count the interception, but if people are on the fence on that quarterback, you can have Jesus' little brother running the ball. People gonna hold off on buying that ticket.
Yeah.
I don't know if they let Jesus' brother play though.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm just.
But I'm gonna tell you something, Steve.
That might be a cheat. That might be a cheat.
But if anybody was interested in getting season tickets, the time to get in would be now, while the market is low, because when you and I'm speaking optimistically now, but when you think about we have a number one draft pick wide receiver, a quote unquote unicorn tight end, Bijan Robinson, who's supposed to be out of control. I mean, we have some serious young offensive pieces that if we were right on our picks, we should have a really good team, especially since we're shoring up the defense. And I'm not saying necessarily, this year we're going to go out and win every game, but I'm saying we're building, for the future, and we still have many draft picks, ahead of us. And so if it all works out, if we have an exciting, very talented team, and the national media, they're beginning to recognize it because they were talking about Bijan Robinson, but they were also saying, hey, who are you going to cover? Are you going to cover the number one draft pick running back?
Don't say that. Please don't say that, because that's jinxing us. Because Thomas Dimitrov said that, pick your poison. And as soon as he said that, the Falcons started losing. That's the same when Terrell Owens and Ocho Cinco was on the team together with the Bengals. And they said, oh, pick your poison. They jinxed them. And then they started losing. The thing is, when it comes to who you're going to cover, I don't need to cover now one of them. All I got to do is put a pressure package on Desmond Ridder. You got to get rid of that ball.
Oh no question.
It takes time to throw that ball. So if I put a pressure package on Desmond Ridder, I don't care if your receiver get open. You got to get it to him. And you ain't going to get it to him because pressure break pipes. That's why you blitz the rookie quarterback. You always blitz the rookie quarterback because it forces him to go through his reads quick.
No question, but we can't sleep on the talent that we've accumulated over the last 3 years if they work out. The quarterback is the most important piece in that. And that's why so many people are a little lukewarm. They're not just ready to go all in with all of those three pieces. And then you factor in Tyler Algier. They're just like, well, I don't know. Just like I made the point a moment ago, Steve, about Ridder. He had Bijan wide open in the end zone, and he had Hollins too, and he didn't hit him. He ran and tripped up and fell. But hopefully that's just working out the kinks. We'll see.
You know what it was? He was feeling himself because he had that good run the previous play. He was feeling himself. That was
but listen to what we're talking about, though. The one thing I'll say, guys, is everything. Would you agree that the play we've seen which is why I'm so ready for regular season to start, that the play we've seen in preseason, even the coaching in these first two games, specifically more on defense, has been a more exciting brand, a more exciting look than what we've had in the past 4 seasons?
It's 2017.
Is that something that I'm imagining, Wallace?
No.
So I mean, I'm just saying. So, do you guys think? I'm a big believer, and I hear what you're saying, Slim. You don't want to sit there and act like, yeah, I just said pick your poison, so that jinxes it. I get that, but I'm also sitting here saying, no, but there's something different about this squad this year. It's something different about. I know we have elevated talent this year, but it's just something different that I've seen in the last 4 years.
I've been telling you what it is, Uncle Steve. It's a competent front office. The front office is doing the job that they're supposed to do. Right. When you have a front office that's willing to put a product on the field, it's going to change the energy in the fans, the stadium, and all over the organization. It's rubbing off on the players right now.
But I counter that by saying, wasn't it a look? Nobody was complaining about the front office from 2008 to 2017. People talked a lot about gave up all the picks for Julio, the Peter Kant's pick in round 2, a couple of bad first picks in the early regime of Dimitrov. But nobody was complaining about the front office then. I'm saying, yeah, this looks great. This is the first opportunity that they really are going to get judged. It's not fair to judge Terry and Arthur for 21 and 22. Now you to actually judge them. So when you say competent front office, he was the executive of the year 2 times in 6 or 7 years. Dimitrov when he was here. Nobody started saying all of that until the last couple of years. I don't want people to have revisited history. That was the most, contrary to belief, I'm going to let you go in a second, Smitty. Contrary to belief, that was the most winningest time in Falcon history from 08 to 17. Is that not true?
That's true.
So my point is, let's, before we start talking about totally competent, I like the things they're doing, but I just say slow down. Let's see what happens this year as well before we put a A1 state. Now I give him an A+ for getting rid of all the dead money.
And I get that. But think about it, Uncle Steve. They were pressed to be 2 and whatever last year. Arthur Smith coached that team with a bunch of second and third string players on 1-year deals. So now he's shown me that he can overachieve with those kind of players. He has no choice but to produce with what he's got. So that's why I said the front office deserves some kind of recognition for what they've done the last 2 years.
You also let me I think the reason why this year the Falcons are so exciting is because for the longest the Falcons has always been conservative. Since Mike Smith, the Falcons have always said we're not gonna specialize on just getting sacks. It's more to it than a sack. Dan Quinn came in and started doing that. Even Dean Pease said that. We not, as long as we could get the ball back. Ryan Nielsen came in and he's focused on getting the sack. And for some odd reason, when a person see a sack, it's just exciting. When you see a quarterback go down, that's the most exciting play ever. That it because it changes the game plan of everything. So I think they're more focused on smash mouth football than just being conservative. And I think for the longest, we got used to just seeing the Falcons so conservative. How many times where the Falcons would get up like 10 points, and I know every single person on this camera would say, and even everybody in this chat room, watch the Falcons lose this. Watch the Falcons find a way to get it up. We see it all the time. So I think now they're putting the emphasis on sacking the quarterback, taking that lead and keeping that lead. And let's be honest, the run, just running the ball, it gets boring. It gets real boring. Now Arthur Smith is opening up that playbook. He's not babying Ritter no more. So seeing stuff like that, it's just more exciting. Even if you lose, like look at Michael Vick. He wasn't the winningest football player for the Falcons, but the stuff he did was just so exciting to where even if we lose, we'll go to school and say, man, did y'all see what Michael Vick did? You will be talking about Jerry Springer and then say, man, but did y'all see that play Michael Vick did on the loss? So it's like we now going back to having fun playing football again.
I want to go back.
Before you start, right quick, Stephen, let me introduce my brother Larry from Dixon Way. Y'all make sure y'all check him out. Always putting up great live reaction content, whether it's Falcons, whether it's Braves. I'd have seen him do Atlanta Dream. I'd probably see him do some high school ball if he could get it on TV. He'd probably do that too. What's going on, brother Larry?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? How y'all doing? Appreciate you having me.
All right. I'm gonna come right back to you. I'm gonna circle back to Stephen real quick, and then I'm gonna hit you up with the same question. Go ahead, Stephen. I apologize for interrupting.
I want to go back to what I think the original question was, and and speak objectively about how I feel about this season. Emotionally, I'm all in. I'm feeling good about what I've seen so far. But just like when people were talking about Ritter those last 4 games, and they say how he got better as the more he played, but our competition got weaker because we were playing teams who weren't really playing for anything. Maybe that was a factor, maybe not. I think it was. The fact that our defense looked good when we played Miami, those weren't the starters. They looked, to be honest with you, the starters look good, but the second string they've looked more exciting to me than that one series that the starters played. And then as far as our number ones, on offense, and I guess on defense too, Cincinnati didn't play their ones. And so objectively, I feel like I haven't really gotten a true accurate, assessment of how good they really are, when I'm comparing apples to apples. If it's our ones against their twos, and I'm looking at how confident Ritter was and how he moved the ball and how Bijan moved, and I think Bijan's going to be Bijan. I think the big question in the room is, can Ritter pull it off with the weapons around here? I'm all in. I'm hoping that he can. But at the same time, it's like, okay, I'll see it when we play Carolina.
Yeah, that's true. Larry, let me circle back to the original questions we asked and give you a chance to get in on that. So we had the 2 questions where we were saying, first, do we need to see the starters against the Steelers this upcoming Thursday, 72 hours from now? And then also, with 1 carry, did Bijan become must-see TV in the ATL? And I saw you answer it in the chat, but go ahead and now that you got your model face on, let's see if you can answer it for us out here live.
Model? None of that.
Whatever. You're trying to act like you don't put cocoa butter on before you come on.
I actually put on some Novatress product. That's what me and my wife made. But yeah, shout out to Novatress. But nah. First on the Bijan thing, I didn't want Bijan. I think I've let that be known. I did not want Bijan. I wanted Jalen Carter. I ain't gonna apologize about either. With that said, that hot mustard is that sauce, bro. That hot mustard, that sauce, bro. Bijan mustard, bro. Hey, look. I done let it know. I think, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I wanted Jalen Carter. Yeah, his first move was on the Eagles was going straight up the line like hot knife through butter. But
he was going full.
I do feel like that Bijan is the star player. We didn't have anybody remotely close to being able to be promoted like that. Now, I did say when we drafted him, we were going to promote him like that, but we haven't. To be honest, we promoted more the team. Like, he's been out there, but I thought he was going to be on every poster, every commercial, on the season tickets. I heard on the season tickets, he wasn't even on it, was he? Like on the main pamphlet?
Right.
Yeah, so.
I don't know if he was or not.
Yeah, so, I mean, well, that's what someone told me, that he wasn't on the pamphlet. I think Bijan is fine, man. I think that for the first time in a while that people got hope. We were out there. You know, Smitty was too big to come up the hill and holler at me. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
Nah, I'm just messing with Smitty, man. Everybody, there was so many people out there. You would miss somebody if you was standing shoulder to shoulder with them. That's how many people were out there.
Yeah, and I was stuck at the bottom. That's what. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, y'all having a good old time. We were looking down at y'all. We was in the shade, though. You know what I'm saying?
Let me sneak in real quick, Larry, because we do have a super chat in here.
Okay.
Oh Lord, here we go.
Speaking of legends, Big Low Country Sports trying to entice us.
Big Low came up the hill and talked to me.
Hey, did y'all know I had to leave Taco Matt early because I couldn't pay Big Low fee, man. He was charging me. He
Well,
told
goodness.
let me tell you something.
somebody walked up and touched me on the shoulder and said, "Hey, man, you got to go." I said, "Come on, man."
Slim, don't feel bad because he actually didn't come through. I kind of threw down the gauntlet and tried to challenge him to a singing contest while we were
He
there.
wanted no parts of that.
And he wanted no parts of it.
None of that.
When we were
You
there.
went by default, Steve.
Smitty, am I lying, Smitty?
I plead the fifth.
See,
Well, see, I think what happened was Big Low had another TV spot that he had to do.
Is that what it was?
Every time I seen Big Low on more commercials than Bijan.
See,
For real.
Larry, you making excuses for him like you gonna have a What in the World Bowl t-shirt on in a couple of seconds.
No, I'm just saying, man. I seen so many promos with Big Low in it. Every time I see one, I seen Big Low on ESPN when they were talking about the Falcons. I'm telling you, Big Low
He made,
everywhere, man.
he
Shout
made
out to
the
Big Low.
NFL Network wait. He made the NFL Network work.
Yeah,
He was definitely
him and Jack Spade and they were on the NFL Network. So
Yep,
I
they were.
aspire one day to be in those particular
For real.
heights.
We
But
pay homage to you, great Big Low.
so,
You know what I'm saying? No, but seriously, man, that's the homie. You know what I'm saying?
So
always
we're
doing
not
great
taking.
things.
So in other words, you're saying we're not taking this blood money that he's giving us for this $4.99. We're not until
He still got to get the. It's still got to get the verses now. We still want to see the
no,
verses.
he gonna get it as soon as he. Like I said, all he got to do is step in here and
Hell, I'll stream it. I'll commentate.
Oh man, let me invite my other brother in here, man. Big John. I don't know what he's talking about. The Mingo. What are you talking about? What?
Man.
What?
Mongo, man.
What?
You don't remember
What are you
Flash
talking
Gordon? He talking about Flash Gordon, man.
Oh, is that what he is?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
that
think
was the
so.
villain?
Yeah.
Well, you notice how long ago that was, and I know Larry, you're a big comic guy. So
I got a baby
remember
face, man. I'm old too.
Yeah, I mean, really? Is that what it is? That's the best you can do? I mean, if you're going to say, you might well go back to George Reeves and Superman if you're going to do that.
Christopher Reeves, yeah, that's what I was just about to say.
No, George Reeves, back in the long.
Oh, the long
black and
way
white
on that.
Superman.
Yeah,
that's way
black and white.
They didn't have exotic names like that in Superman, sir.
Oh, man.
What's going on, John?
What's up, John?
Good evening, gentlemen. Man, I really hate I missed the meet and greet. I had some other commitments, but next time you guys do that, I'll be out there. I'll definitely be out there with you. Friday, what I saw Friday, people have just lost their minds either one way or the other way as far as Ritter is concerned. I mean, it's just, man, Jesus Christ must be on the way. The end times are
He's
over.
getting a lot of love on this stream. I like that. That's good. That's the second time we had a Jesus reference. Good job.
Yeah, well, thing is, it was blasphemy. Blasphemy, I tell you, blasphemy. But thing is that one series does not in season. I'm telling you, and before I say anything else, everybody that's wearing glasses, when Steve and Big Low get the doggone singing, put them on the side. You don't want them things busting in your face when they try to hit them high notes. They go, and the folks from out of your
don't
trunk.
bring your high soprano voice talking behind in here with all that mess. Like I said, you want to be part. Just because you want to be part of Boys to Men, don't be jealous because we got the talent, John. Don't come here hating.
Well, hey, Steve. Now, Back of the Trunk Records is waiting on y'all. Now, as soon as y'all get to the studio, they ready to cut it. They ready to cut it. But I definitely want to be on that stream. I want to hear that one. I definitely want to hear that one.
Really need to play.
Down there at the dog pound, they probably won't be able to keep them hounds. Don't just get in there with it.
Oh Lord have mercy, not the
You
dogs.
wrong, bro. You wrong for that.
Not the dogs.
So let me ask you a question. Since you already talking about the Falcons in popularity, we asked the question: did that one run from Bijan, was that enough to entice folks to come down to the stadium and see what we think is going to be a bona fide superstar here in Atlanta in the Mercedes-Benz Dome on game one? Let me ask you how you feel about that, John.
Well, I was kind of encouraged with the run because that man was running through a minefield. And I mean, the way that he was picking his little, picking his spots to plant and dip and, hey, man, he looked pretty good. And yes, that will entice some to come down there. What is that?
How much did that cost?
We ordered this online. I think it cost 10 or 12 for 2.
Oh wow!
Ooh, what you get
It's
today?
good too. It's good though.
Hey.
What is that?
That sounds like public.
Hot mustard, man. This is the Bajan sauce. That's why I call them hot mustard.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, well, hey, man, like I said, one series is not a season, mate. So keep on doing the same thing. It's going to draw some people down there because, hey, everybody wants to see what these people can do.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to see what these people can do. And, that's why I was saying what I was saying. That's why I was saying what I was saying about Ritter. You got a taste of it. He looked pretty good. But there's still a little work needs to be done. That's all I'm gonna say. Still a little bit of work that needs to be done. But and I'm definitely impressed with Woodside. Cause even though he's playing against the second and third string, and he did so last week, there was no fall off. There was no fall off even in that one series. So,
Woodside ain't gonna be nothing but on the practice squad. He not gonna make no second string as long as barring no injuries. He will not get on the team as no second string.
Right.
See, Brock Purdy made it. Hey, anything is possible.
Here's the thing about the 49ers, though. You cannot. That's an anomaly. Kyle Shanahan is a genius when it comes to that. Man can make a playbook out of some lint, out of a pocket and a paper clip and 3 pennies. He'll make a whole playbook.
Yeah.
So,
aren't we supposed to have somebody like that here?
Well,
yeah,
the problem,
the problem that comes from Mike Shanahan. That comes from a Mike Shanahan. That's an anomaly. You can't.
Mike. Is that Mike or Kyle?
No, I'm talking about Mike Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan. No, I'm saying Kyle Shanahan came from Mike Shanahan, who was a monster on play calling. So, Arthur Smith came from FedEx, man. So, even though he's a billionaire.
Now hold up. Now that offense is a version of the West Coast offense. See, it comes from it's not the same.
It's not the same. Hold on, John. It's actually it's a version of it, but it's much different than what Kyle was doing here in Atlanta. Let's not even try to compare what Arthur Smith is doing to what Kyle Shanahan did when he was here and what he's been doing in San Francisco. Absolutely no way you can
we can't do that.
The only thing that's the same hold on. Only thing that's the same is West Coast offense. Let me jump to the next question before we get out of here, because I actually stayed on here a little bit longer before I get out of here. And I appreciate everybody in the panel joining us today. Again, if y'all don't mind, like the video. I know Smitty got some folks over there. If y'all don't mind, y'all can switch back and forth. If you're on my video, switch over there to Smitty's, hit the like button. If you're on Smitty's, please jump over to Uncle Steve's Lounge and come over here. Again, we do this all the time, so we appreciate everyone in the love they have for us. So let's start right here. I'm going to have a prediction show next weekend in the bye weekend, going before week 1. But I would like to know right now, from what y'all have seen and what you've seen on the offseason. I'm not asking for a prediction record-wise, but I will say, who is going to be our biggest contender, our biggest block? Who's going to be in front of us in the NFC South that we have to get by in order to win this division?
That's easy. That's easy.
We have to go through, in your opinion, who's going to be our biggest challenge to win the division? I'm going to start with Slim, and then I'm going to work my way around. Slim, you start off.
Oh, that's easy. It's the Saints because they got the best quarterback. So, and the reason why I say that is because no matter what, you always got to give the best quarterback the lead. You got to give them the pullout when you compare the team. So, but I do say this: the Falcons have the better chance to be the upside, the team that spoils it all for the NFC South. So I think we have a better chance to win the NFC South. But if you're talking about as of right now or who the Falcons got to get past, I would say the Saints. I would say the Saints because they got Carr. And Carr played pretty good when he was on there. Carr got the experience. So that's what I go with.
I know people don't want to admit that, but that's a very good point. What you say, Larry? Biggest obstacle for the Falcons to get through in order to win this NFC South.
Yeah.
I've
been watching their preseason games. I'm not even thinking about their quarterback. Their quarterback trash. I'm not trying to hear that. Their defense looks really good. All right. David Carr got excuse me. He got Mariota. Stop. I'm not worried about David Carr. All right. Now they got a lot of weapons. Thomas back, Michael Thomas back. This big kid with number 84, Jefferson. He gonna be a problem.
They got Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, they got Kamara back. I ain't worried about Kamara. Never really do good against us. I'm not worried about it. I'm just thinking
it's actually true. It's kind of weird that he never.
Yeah, he don't do good
really
against us. I'm not sweating Kamara. You know what I'm saying? And his fronts. I'm worried about their defense. Their defense is looking good, man. Like they are attacking and they're still getting pressure on the quarterback. From what I've seen. Also, Crab Legs actually looking better than Carr, to be honest. I mean, so to me personally, I think it's probably, as it should be, Falcons and Saints going down to the wire to win the division. After watching Carolina a lot, they offensive line, man, I'm licking my chops. I can't wait for that game.
Yeah.
And I really wish that coach would play the starters at least one series against the Steelers. Since the Steelers already came out and said they playing their starters.
But I was telling somebody else, Larry, but we played our starters against Cincinnati second string too.
That is true.
It is true. I'm gonna come back to you, Larry, on that Derek Carr.
Quick question. Yeah. Quick thing. Did y'all know they said Bryce Young gonna be wearing stilettos behind the center so he can see over the line? So.
Platform shoes, bro.
Tell y'all something. But every joke I hear about Bryce Young and it's warranted, I think about Mike Vick. I'm not trying to put him in that category, but the first thing I remember them saying when he came out of Virginia Tech, for those of you who remember when he got drafted, one of the first thing they said was he was too small. That was one of the first. So I'm getting it with all the jokes. I'm cool. I get it, but I don't want people to misconstrue. Talent has a way of finding its way into the.
They said that about Drew Brees.
Yeah, Drew Brees the same way. So I was about to. Okay, I'm gonna go to you, John, real quick. I was getting ready to go to Steve. I'm gonna go to you, John, and I'm gonna go to you next, Steve. Go ahead, John.
The stumbling block for the Atlanta Falcons are the Atlanta Falcons. None of these teams in this division are insurmountable that they can't be beat. As long as we don't go out there and beat ourselves with dumb penalties and dumb plays, we can win. Because see, remember the New Orleans. Now that was with Mariota. Now the New Orleans game, the very first game, we had them. We should have beat them. But dumb plays, dumb penalties, that killed us in a lot of games last year. You know, and thing is, I'm gonna pick a team. It would be the Saints because of the fact that we have one of their people off their defensive staff. Now, this man has never called plays before, but everybody knows him over there on that Saints staff. You know, he might have some tendencies that were displayed out there. So, you know, but the Atlanta Falcons are their own worst enemy.
Yeah,
I'm sorry I had to put this. Kiki is no good. She talking about I'm not scared of Derek Carr. He wears a Mary Kay. That's wrong at all. That's just all levels. Kiki.
Well,
Kirk Cousins let his wife dress him, and he's still out there.
That hand lotion might help him hold the ball. Ain't no telling what those things do. You know, that makeup and all that.
Well, y'all wild out there.
All right, let me get to Steven. Steven, in your opinion, who do you think is going to be that roadblock in the NFC South? And I want to make clear something too. When y'all were talking earlier, I'm talking about just the NFC South. I heard a lot of sound like a lot of anti-Derek Carr. Y'all can say that all y'all want to. Derek Carr is the most experienced quarterback, and let's not try to pretend like he didn't go to the playoffs a couple of years himself. I'm not trying to say he's the second
Pro Bowl,
but you better respect the fact that you know he's not a slug. He's not a total slug, but you know that's my opinion. But go ahead, Steve.
I want to echo what John said. I think the Falcons are their own. You know, we're going to hurt ourselves. But you know, with that being said, I think the Saints are the closest team. But the thing about the Saints, in my opinion, is that when you look at all the quarterbacks that were recycled over the past few years, whether you're talking about Wentz to the Colts or Ryan to the Colts, and there are others too, they never seem to get their mojo, you know? And I would say Wentz probably did, you know, some people would say they probably should have kept him because his stats are good. But I'm not afraid of Carr, quite honestly. And we'll see. I think the Falcons, you know, they'll be fine. I'm not afraid of the Saints at all.
Yeah, I'm not even afraid of this. And let me make it clear. I see a lot of people coming down on Carr, which I'm not here to tell you he's a Super Bowl champ. I'm not here to tell you he's all that. But I will say, out of the four quarterbacks, Baker, Desmond, Derek Carr, Bryce Young, this man has seen more time. This man has seen more games. And I don't think he's a top tier NFL quarterback, like top 10. I probably wouldn't put him too far off the top 16.
Remember, people were saying that about Matthew Stafford.
I mean, let's not. Yeah, I just don't. And I say this like Falcon fans don't underestimate that kid.
Yeah.
When he's healthy, he's not bad. Now, I disagree with the one thing you and I'm trying to think, was that what one of y'all were talking about the Saints defense. We actually suck some of their defense out. I'm not hearing anything about the preseason guys. Some of them guys are young, and once you start getting into some of the play calling that not only us, but I think other teams will do against a young defense, I think we'll expose them. We stole the heart and soul of their defensive line. We took their linebacker, and more importantly, we took the architect of those 200 sacks from 2017 until last year. I hear you on the preseason thing, but I think that's going to be a little bit of difference to me. I think the biggest move was bringing, with Ryan Nielsen not being there, calling those shots. I think that's going to make a big difference with their defense. Smitty, what do you think? Who's the biggest stumbling block for the Falcons?
As bad as I hate to say this, I'd have to say the Carolina Panthers.
Ooh.
And it's not because of the offense; it's because the defense is still intact.
Yeah.
And they still have all their pieces on defense, which is going to carry that team. The reason why I'm not worried about New Orleans, y'all talk about Derek Carr. Derek Carr is in a better system than he was in Las Vegas. Trust me, he's gonna make it. But the person that I don't trust on that team is Dennis Allen. Who has he coached to a winning season?
True.
Nobody.
True.
And when we talk about veteran coaches, none of us have said anything about Todd Bowles. But Todd Bowles, if he can keep that defense together and have them playing up to par, and they got a lot of their pieces back, and Keanu Neal went there as well. They could make some noise in the division, but we know Baker Mayfield, depending on how he plays, that's what their season would depend on. But Carolina, to me, is still the biggest obstacle because of their defense.
I see Giving Game Sports gave me a comment and said we only took one starter though, off, the rest was backups. Yeah, but the one backup we took, Caden Ellis, had more sacks than anybody on our team. So from that standpoint, I hear you, but it's still an asset as far as that's concerned to me.
Let me ask y'all something. Y'all see, we've been stealing players and coaches and folk from New Orleans for years to make us better.
We stole their stadium name.
And that too. Matter of fact, you're right. We snatched Mercedes. It was a much better car we driving than they driving down there. Cause see, man, hey, that place just is standing up. But I mean, every time that we get ready to rebuild or do something, we still in New Orleans, folk. I mean, we not going. No, I mean, it's Bobby Hebert, Joe Horn. Man, I just said
Craig Hayward.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I say we should have still called it the New Georgia Dome, but I agree with you too, John.
Money talk, Slim. Remember you pay for that.
Let me say the reason why I wrote off Tampa Bay is because Todd Bowles. When Todd Bowles came in, everybody was like, he the pioneer. He went to the Jets. He stunk up the Jets. Then he went. The reason why he had a good season, technically a good season last year, because of Tom Brady. So, and when he was working with what's his name, the head coach before he moved to the office, and what's his name, Bruce Arians. Yeah, Bruce Arians was in Tampa Bay. And he set that team up for Todd Bowles, and Todd Bowles still dropped it. So to me, Todd Bowles got to show me something before I say Todd Bowles is serious. He's a good defensive coordinator, but outside of that,
he's a better coordinator than coach. So
Todd Bowles will be driving Uber by the time December comes this year. In my opinion. Y'all, I gotta wrap this up real quick. I'm gonna go around. Everybody tell where you're coming from, your handle, where you're at on Facebook, Twitter, X, wherever you are. John, aside of being inside of Yugo, where are you coming from?
The strip club.
Yeah, probably. Why you got on white?
I don't know. You know what? I don't know why y'all all in my doggone mix when I with y'all. Now, I 24/7. I don't go to church. I don't start church on Sunday and then get out on Friday. I got to do other things. But I'm just at large. When I get that burr in my saddle, I'll be on whatever platform I can log into and start talking. So that's me.
And for those of you who don't know, this is the infamous, for those of you in Atlanta sports radio, Pastor John from Union City. Mm-hmm. That's who this is sitting here. We have low key royalty here with Brother John here. Larry, talk to me, man. Again, tell us about the Dixon Way and what you guys do on the platform, and let us know where you're at.
All right. Thank you for having me on as always, man.
Always. And let me stop you before you start. Aside of John, Larry was probably back in the day when we were doing Facebook back in 17 and 18. I think it was me, Larry, and maybe one or two other people that would be talking on the
Just
chat.
sitting there talking the whole time.
And we would talk to each other through the post game and stuff. So I got much back love from my brother Larry in the house, man. And just appreciate you always, man.
Hey, man, appreciate you. Yeah. You inspired me to do this. Wife was like, "Hey, let's do it. You gonna look at it anyway. You might as well." Guys, me and my beautiful wife Shonda, we do a commentary stream called The Dixon Way. And last season we started with the Falcons football, and we commentate every game, mostly together with the football game, but baseball, basketball get crazy, so the schedules mess up. But basically, I do live commentary during the game and interact with the people, you know what I'm saying? Answer questions, stuff like that, give sounders, all that stuff. Try to be a little bit entertaining during the game. So if you're watching the game, come check us out. Actually, I was about to say I had to go anyway because the game about to come on in about 15 minutes. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I got to get ready. But if you guys are interested, check us out. It's on _Dixon_Way on YouTube or on TikTok. Check us out. If you're going to watch the Braves game, you know the Braves got to go ahead and sweep the mess. Get the mess up out of here. Not the Mets. The mess. Sweep the mess up out of here.
Yeah,
that's what we do out there, man. So if you guys want to chill out with me while we watch the game and chop it up, then come on down, join the family. We appreciate you coming through. Thank you, Steve, as always.
Larry and Sean.
You and Smitty. And and I got everybody, like people that had me on before, you know what I'm saying, or I've met or whatever. I put y'all addresses down in the description. So we can all keep that train going. Everybody can help each other grow. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We just started last year, and we just reached, we almost at 1,200. So thank everyone for supporting us out there and helping us grow. And we can keep this game going. Everybody, you know what I'm saying? Sorry we couldn't, be at the meet and greet, stuff like that. But looking at the pictures and stuff, y'all had a good old time.
Brother, there'll be another one. There'll be another one. We'll catch you on the next one. And again, as I said, y'all make sure y'all switch the traffic over to the Dixon Way and catch my brother Larry over there.
Let me get this sound check.
Motivate those. Do your thing, brother. Appreciate you,
man. Peace.
Appreciate you. And Deuces, brother. Slim, talk to me, brother.
Man, I'm just a simple guy, man. Just play the man. Check my page out, though, so you can see some good play. I play with the Falcons. I don't play with nobody else but the Falcons, except last year because the Falcons was literally unplayable. But
you should have made some creative players.
I almost tried to go to Build-A-Bear to build me a team on there, but man, that's all I do. Just play some Falcons, man, and enjoy myself. I said I'm gonna try to do the content creating, but with the job I got, man, I'm looking at 5 and 6 monitors all the time. So but meet me on that Madden though.
There you go.
Yes,
I feel you on that struggle. Sometimes this work, man, it'll get in the way. Speaking of somebody who I know needs to jump on the mic and get him waiting for the Stephen J. Alford show, my brother, tell everybody where they can find you. I really think you got a heart for this stuff, man. I see you on the other platforms. I see you on my brother's platform over there with Atlanta Bird Game doing some good stuff.
I love it.
Out there, man.
I love it. I'm going to launch a podcast. I haven't done that yet because there's just so much content I want to talk about going on currently, history, everything. But right now, you can find me with Uncle Steve. Always love to chop it up with you, brother.
Thank you, man.
Or the Atlanta Bird Gang or whoever else will have me. But yeah, I'm definitely going to launch a podcast. Of course, my X or Twitter is at SJ Alford. But I don't just do sports there. I talk about, quite a few things, but I will be launching a podcast to talk about the Falcons.
Do it.
Please. And if you do, please, tag me, please, so we can make sure everything gets out there, Steven, man. I really appreciate you joining us, man.
There's one other nugget I wanted to drop real quick, but I know we got to go, is I am considering doing a documentary on the 23-24 Falcons season. And so once the final decision on that, I'll definitely want you brothers to be a part of it if you have time.
I'll make time. I'll make time. At least three of the four of us will. I don't know about the one over there, but
we'll make it easy.
We appreciate that, Steven. And last but not least, my big brother, Smitty, I say big brother, my little brother, Smitty, right next to us. Smitty, tell him where you are, and people are already watching from his platform as well anyway, but talk to us, Smitty.
Yeah, find me on Smitty Sports Machine, man. Like Steve said, man, I do it all. All-time lists, debates, reaction shows, latest news, and I'm gonna just keep the train going, man, because 2023, man, we all gonna grow, man. I see it. The vision is getting clear and clear. So again, Smitty Sports Machine on YouTube. Find me at FatBoySlim_21 on Twitter. And if y'all want to talk sports, that's where I'm at most of the time.
Outstanding. Gentlemen, I appreciate you. Thank you for joining Uncle Steve. If you haven't already, push that check mark on the way out. Like the video on YouTube, like it on Facebook, share the video if you want to. We appreciate you. Thank you all for joining us on the Monday Minutia. We'll catch you all for Friday brunch after the game on Thursday for Pittsburgh. Y'all take care of yourself. Brothers, y'all have a great